that morning you're like, happy birthday, and I just burst into tears. And you're like, what is going on? And I said, like, you know, they're thinking that we're not going to be able to get off today because it was bad weather. And I was just like, I need to fucking off this rig. Like, I'm just not going to make it another day. Like, I was extremely bad, like quite suicidal at this stage.
We're all about people creating business, so don't think business is hard. It is hard, but it's worth it. I remember the 8 grand.
8 grand, 9 grand. And then we got to 10 grand and we were like, what? Like, and then 12 grand, 13 grand,
14 grand,
14,000,
15.
And we're like, so then we got to 16 grand, 17 grand. And that night we finished on our first launch of like 20,800 or something like that. You know, so about $35,000 before the stock was there, maybe even 38.
Welcome back to Spill the Tea with Bo and Kirsty. This is episode 3 and it's all about how we got into business. So
100%.
we're going to talk about how we went from
working in the mines and offshore to Believe the Label was the first one.
Yeah, first
My
one
baby.
together.
My baby.
So Kirsty, talk to us about what transition you went, because I was still in the mines and you had Harvey.
No, not yet.
You hadn't had Harvey yet?
No.
All right, so you're working on the offshore and go, talk to us.
All right, so I was working offshore. I was on my second COVID swing. If you listen to the first episode, I talked a little bit about that. The second COVID swing was awful. We had a lot of things go wrong. Like I said, Carson broke his arm. Noah broke his nose. Our au pair wasn't rocking up. You work in the mines, a lot of stress. Wasn't prepared. We'd done the 6-week swing prior to that, only had 2 weeks off and back into work. And prior to the 6 weeks, the original one, I only had 5 days off. So I've been away for 2 weeks, had 5 days off, worked for 6 weeks, had 2 weeks off and back to work. And within the first 4 days, everything went to shit, including my phone stopped working.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, so that was like...
How stressful is it when
you
know what the worst thing about not having a phone when you work away is that, you know, you don't have an alarm.
Yeah, everything. So I was everything goes wrong. Like there was no music.
Everything.
So I used music for my, you know, for training and all that kind of stuff. Like contacting, so I was really lucky. I had a friend out on site who actually gave me his iPad, and here's me take my iPad to the gym to have my music playing and stuff like that. It was crazy. But yeah, it was just a really awful time. And about weekend, I absolutely lost it. I had a full mental breakdown. Now at that time, it was very much well known that you did these swings and you weren't getting off. You had to be there for the whole 6 weeks because of COVID. So, you know, back in the old days, you know, pre-COVID, you know, you could jump on a helicopter if you were having something going on. You could not. There was one helicopter in, there was one helicopter out, and basically someone had to die for you to get off that rig. So I lost it one day. I went to my boss and I said, I'm done. I'm resigning. And he said to me, Kirsty, I really think that you should think about this. You know, like you're really heated. You've got a lot of emotion on you right now. You know, you've got 10-year career here. You know, like just wait till you get home. And I'm on 1 weekend, so I've got another 5 weeks to go. And anyone that works offshore knows that that is a long time. You know, a long time away from your family, a long time in isolation. So I said, no, fuck it, I'm out. Now, we were also getting big bonuses. We were getting paid a really good wage, obviously, but we had bonuses and stuff attached to that in our R&R. So I lost my shit. Then the next day, I was working out with my boss. So, you know, I'll be paid up to this date. And, you know, I'll get my R&R and then I'll get my bonus. And I'd already resigned. I'd gone through to corporate and signed it, everything. Signed, sealed, delivered. I was fucking out. And he said, no, you won't. You'll finish here and then you'll only get 2 weeks R&R, I think it was. And I said, well, no fucking way. Like, I'm working this whole swing. I should be getting my whole R&R plus my bonus. And he said, no, that's not how it's going to work because you resigned today. It's effective from today, but you still got to work off do your swing. And I was beside myself. Like, I'm talking about like probably $20,000 more maybe that I'm going to lose out on, actually more than that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, so I still have to work my swing and I'm going to be not getting my bonus. So I contacted my old boss, who I'm still friends with today. And he said to me, Kirsty, you're going to get off this call and then you're going to go and see the medic and tell them what's going on with you. And you are going to contact head office and say, you are in no position to make this decision. You're mentally unstable right now. And I literally was. I was having a fucking mental breakdown. Anyway, the medic came. I was beside myself. Like, I was fucking, like, just couldn't believe it. They put me on Valium to sort of calm me down. I took a couple of days off work to get myself sort of sorted. And I was like, no, fuck it. So he said to me, I know you want to do the right thing. I know you want to be that person, but they don't give a fuck about you. And it's now really time for you to start thinking about yourself. Now, prior to him actually leaving, he already had told me this. Like, I'm a person that I love what I do. No matter whatever role I've taken in life, I've always loved it. And once I stop loving it, I'll remove myself from that situation or quit that job. And I would never do anything wrong by anybody. You know, I've always lived by integrity. It's always been the person I am. And he said to me, you're going to, you know, pull back that resignation. So I pulled it back and with no intent to ever go back to work. So what actually happened was that I got off the rig on my birthday, fucked up. I was so skinny. Like, I mean, when I came back, you know, I trained 2 to 3 times a day for the entire 6 weeks. I was absolutely super strict with my diet. I've read and listened to anything. I just was trying to sleep and get through my days just so I could be one day quicker to getting home. And on my birthday, I'll never forget this. I was sitting in the helicopter room waiting for a helicopter and it was getting delayed. And I was just beside myself. Like, I rang up, you know, you that morning. You were like, happy birthday. And I just burst into tears. And you were like, what is going on? And I said, like, you know, they're thinking that we're not going to be able to get off today because it was bad weather. And and I was just like, I need to fucking off this rig. Like, I'm just not going to make it another day. Like, I was extremely, extremely bad, like quite suicidal at this stage. Like, I just needed to be home. I remember how I felt. I've got videos of me on the bike my last day, and I was like,
but if that swing was comfortable, you wouldn't be where you are now.
Oh,
right?
100%.
So that's
but
why
at that moment, I could not see that.
Yeah,
you know, like and it took me weeks, probably months to come right after that swing. It really did take a toll on me. And obviously, you know, then me and Bo had sex that night. You know, Harvey was conceived. If you've listened to the first episode, you know, he was conceived in the closet, so that was all in there. And then I sat down and I was like, okay, cool. I'm never going back to work. So 10 years in oil and gas on a very good amount of money. You know, they say job stands for just above broke. I was probably just above that, but still never enough. And it's just a vicious cycle of more you got, more you spent. So for every dollar I got, I probably spent $1.20. And so that's how that cycle was. And then I had all the guilt that came with that, you know, feeding my family and hanging out with my kids. So they got everything. And so I sat down one day and I was like, what am I going to do? I don't want to work for someone else. I don't want to be in an office. Like, what the fuck am I actually going to do that's going to bring me in money that's going to be able to go against that, you know, the income that I was already on. Lucky for me, I did have you as well. But I also knew I had long service leave. So I sat down and I was like, okay, cool. I want to start a clothing brand. And Bo was like, fuck it, do it. That's him always. Fuck it, do it. Just do it.
Do it.
You know, just do it. And I was like, all right, cool.
Told me to.
Yeah. And so I sat down and I started like thinking about like, well, what kind of clothing would I want to bring out? And when we first started this, we had about 50 different lines we're going to bring out. It was going to be like denim jeans and like denim shorts and like, you know, dresses and skirts and all of these things.
T-shirt dresses.
Like, you know, like I had 50 different styles that I was working with. I had designers that I was working with and all this kind of stuff, which I'll go into more detail in a minute. But, I had no fucking idea what I was doing.
Never done any sort of product or clothing.
Never done e-commerce, never done that. I've always sort of been and if I've done anything, it's really been around service, you know, personal trainer, know, online marketing, like, you know, so stuff like that. So never on the product side of things. I have no idea what I was doing. So I was in there, I was like, okay, cool. What's the first thing you need? A name. And I was like, all right, what will my name be? And I liked Fate, the label. I liked the label. All right. So I liked how they called it the label, you know,
instead of clothing or apparel.
Instead of clothing, I liked the label. And then I was like, you know, sitting there and I was just like getting overwhelmed with, you know, all the things that I was trying to do in this, you know, create this little business idea. And I said, and I was like, man, I just fucking need to believe in myself. And then I was like, I wonder if believe the label
and we were like, no,
is
it won't
available.
be available.
Yeah. And I literally got onto, grabbed my phone, went onto the business finder thing, and I remember exactly where I was standing, and I typed it in and it was available. I was like, no fucking way. And I was like, yeah, buy right now. I was like, okay, cool. Got a business name. Awesome. First step. Then I was like, all right, I need to find a manufacturer. And I was like, okay, so need to find a manufacturer. And I went on to Alibaba and I started talking to all these people. And then this lady said to me, all right, have you got a tech pack? And I was like, no, what the fuck is that? I was like, don't I just tell you kind of what I want and you're going to like create it, make it? You know, like no idea. And she's like, no, we need a tech pack so you like your design's right. And I was like, oh fuck, I don't know. So I'm like, she gave me a link to like, hey, you could do your own ones here. So then I went into YouTube. Okay, cool. How do I create my own tech pack? Blah, blah. Started doing it. I was like, whoa, this is way too technical. I have no fucking idea.
Full designer spec.
Full designer spec, like all these lines and shit. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, no. So I was like, all right, I need a designer. So then I went on to, I think, even Fiverr to see if I could find a designer. And I found a fashion designer who worked for a really top fashion brand in the UK who was living in Dubai. So I said, hey, this is what I want to do. Can you create me some tech packs? And she's like, yep, cool. So we had a big talk, and I think that cost us around 10 grand for our tech packs alone. You know, we haven't even started anything yet, right? So like,
we said these $10,000 tech packs and nothing else.
And nothing else. Okay, cool. So there was that, and then I was like, all right, cool, done, tick. And then, you can say something?
I was going to say, I remember how excited we were when we were like, we've got this designer in UK.
Yeah, I know.
Dubai.
It did feel amazing.
It felt bougie.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, we're going to be super successful here. Like, we
like,
cannot go wrong without this.
I remember that conversation.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then I was like, okay, cool. So I went back to the designer and to the manufacturer and said, all right, I've got a tech pack. And then they're like, okay, cool. You know, what kind of fabric do you want? I'm like, I don't know, like fabric, I don't know. Like, again, no idea. And I was like, you know, well, like maybe a little bit slinky because we were doing dresses and stuff then.
Slinky.
You know, like T-shirts and stuff like that. And then, so anyway, we ended up getting some samples and stuff through.
Like polyester cotton.
Yeah.
Spandex.
And then,
what the fuck?
Yeah, we got some samples. It was went through kind of things. And our first samples were fucking shocking. Like, it's actually crazy how this story is going to pan out because it's just the universe.
I wish we had that shit here right now.
Yeah, so
it was like
a pink. We got a pink jumper that was this cotton thin shit, and I asked for embroidery, and believe the label looked like my 3-year-old had signed it on. And
literally, the embroidery looked like
uneven, and
it was like
a kid. It was like a kid that did it, and it was crazy because I was like, why the fuck would you send this to me? Like how could you possibly send this to me thinking that this is good work, you know? And then like I could have stopped then, you know, and to be honest, we just
spent a lot of money too.
Yeah, I would be truly honest, like had I known how hard it would be to build a clothing brand, would I have probably gone into it? No. But so that's the beauty. I'm so naive.
You're naive. Yeah. The naive would actually therefore take you further because my belief system was that I can do it.
Yeah.
But if you knew all the in-between steps that we had
to
traffic blocks on,
oh man.
We're like, I remember how many blocks we went through and I was like, oh, just one more. We'll just do this and we'll get to the next thing. Money, it was like a money pit.
Yeah, it was crazy. And
we're all about people creating business, so don't think business is hard. It
is hard. It is fucking hard. You know what?
But it's
resilient. You know, like, you know, business, I'm so sick of seeing all these Instagram things come out and be like, you know, make, you know, $50,000 every month and you know, be a millionaire and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's bullshit. There's so much hard work goes behind that. And anybody that says they only work for like 10, 20 hours a week, they're lying. And if they are doing that now, they weren't doing that beforehand.
That's exactly right.
You know, like they've got themselves to the point.
They've founded and built
they've built systems and they've got the right people and stuff like that, you know, so... You know, unless they got seriously fucking lucky, which is, you know, majority of people.
So we had all these terrible fucking... I'm still working on the mines, so I'm like away. Kirsty's doing all this. I've got no idea what she's doing. I'm trying to help. We're getting excited. We got these sample packs with all the colours and we're trying shit on and we're like getting...
We're kind of like, we weren't getting that excited. And then one day I went, you know what? because we had 50 different lines. And I was like, that's a lot of money. I reckon to bring that out would have been around about probably like $300,000-$400,000, you know? So I was like, all right, let's niche the fuck down. Let's do loungewear. Yeah. I want to bring out the very best fucking loungewear.
And be known for it.
So we started this, and with those shitty samples we got, I messaged a guy and I said, this is crap. I don't know why you would send this to me. Like, how could you even remotely think that this would be okay?
It was so bad.
It was so bad. Anyway, he goes, well, what do you want? I said, I want the best quality fucking T-shirts, and I want, like, so we wanted, like, loungewear, and we wanted these T-shirts, right? Anyway, and I was just like, no, like, I don't want anything to do with you, blah, blah, blah. He actually sent us, out of his own free will, just sent us 2 T-shirts. And the material was amazing. Remember that?
It was like slinky.
Yeah, it was a soft, it was stretchy. It was nice, it was stretchy.
It was thick.
And I was like, okay, all right, now we're talking.
Yeah.
And he said, I can do this. We just need to get better at communication. I was like, all right.
And it was hard to communicate with these people in Asia. And
exactly right.
China and Vietnam and all the places we were talking to, because and
we had our Dubai people talking to them, and then we, there's so many working parts in this as well. It wasn't just us, and so then we were like, okay, cool. I want to do loungewear, and the loungewear I want to be really focusing on. I want to be focusing on these colors, and it was a bold fucking move bringing out colors. We brought out the brightest, the biggest, boldest pastels and bright yellow and blues, and it was wicked.
And the collection was called Candy and Floss.
Candy and Floss.
And we had, what were some of the names of the colors? So we had peach, the orange.
No, I can't remember.
Peach. We had lemon meringue. We had
Candy Floss.
Candy Floss was the pink.
Bubblegum blue.
And
lemon meringue.
Yeah, and the candy apple, right?
Yeah.
The green one?
No, it was a candy apple, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, so we had that. Now, while this was going on, like I said, I'd left offshore and with no desire to go back. And what actually ended up happening in this mix of making a decision, this is why I always say that manifestation is one thing, but it's about getting clear about what you fucking want and then putting action in place. And that's how you truly manifest, okay? So then you triple down on like meditation, stuff like that, to sort of like really bring that into fruition. Now, I'd made a decision I wasn't going back to offshore. I wanted to build a clothing brand. No idea what the fuck I was doing. In that time, I went to go back out onto swing, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I went and got a medical certificate. I was in no fit mind to be going back to the site. And so then they paid me out long service leave, because I had long service leave. So first I had sick leave, annual leave, and long service leave. And in the between of long service leave and building Believe the Label, 4 weeks into building Believe the Label, 4 fucking weeks is when I found out I was pregnant. Now, this is a straight up hit in the face, showcasing that life is happening for you, not to you. Because I took back my resignation and I was on annual leave, sick leave, started my long service leave, I then fell pregnant, and because I was still on contract, they had to pay me maternity leave.
Boom, got him.
Boom. Now, I took the maternity leave, then I went on to that, finished on my long service leave. So I almost had about 2 years getting paid out on my offshore wage, full wage. And again, life is happening for you. And once I made a decision to leave, I started Believe the Label, and then we had the money to fuel my next phase in life. And I want to make that really, really clear for people, that once you make that decision, I had no fucking idea how, but I knew what I wanted to do.
I sold I think that was later on, I sold that house. And we put that money into the
100%. We put
next.
Yeah, that was into the next collection. So then we got so let's talk about building this, right? So we got all our samples in. We got the new range in, all the colors, amazing quality, fantastic.
And let's just say we'd already spent 10 to 20.
So we'd actually spent 10 grand on a designer and $10,000 on samples before even bring anything out. So that's $20,000 we're down.
We still got all the stuff.
$20,000 we're down before we even fucking start, right? And so then we're doing all these things, and Bo's away at the mines, and then I'm working on this is all working in the background, and like it was just really. I look back now and it was fucking incredible. Like I believe the label lit me the fuck up. Like I loved it. And so in between that time, while still building it before we even launch it, because it was about a year. Oh. Not like, from start to finish, it was about a year before we got.
We come to realize that in the clothing brand, before you even drop the next range, you already need to be halfway through making the next collection.
Yeah,
and especially keeping up with seasons.
You got to be 1 to 2 collections in front.
Yeah, and you got to be making jumpers fucking 2 seasons ago by the time it's made, and then you have
by the time it comes, and
by the time they fuck you around with all the shipping, and they say oh sorry, we've had
delays. There's been a Chinese holiday. Oh my god, so many holidays, so many.
What about the cyclones and shit?
Oh yeah, cyclones.
Fucking cyclone Mary came through, and now we've got to fucking build the fucking we've heard
so
it
there's
all.
a lot of learning curves, but I want to go into before we even did our first launch. So Harvey was born. And Bo was at work in the mines.
I wasn't at work while he was born.
No, I mean so Harvey was
currently
born.
Working there.
Couple of weeks later,
I was there for his birthday.
6 weeks. 6 weeks you were. Yeah.
I flew home.
All right, so you were there for fucking birth. Okay, then 6 weeks later, Bo moseyed on back to work, and and then here I was at home with a newborn baby. 2 other kids, a house, 2 dogs, and a new business that I was starting. Again, not even launched yet. So I had to organize a photo shoot. And I wanted candy and floss. I wanted dancers. I wanted, lollies, like bulls, the bull pit, colorful bull pit. So I go to Kmart, I get all of this stuff, put it in the Mercedes.
Balls, ice creams.
Everything. So it's all in
roller skates.
I packed it into the Mercedes, right? And I've literally, there's balls coming out everywhere. Like you can't see shit. All the clothing is in there. And I'm by myself. Bo's at work. And it's crazy. I look back now. So the day of the shoot, which was in the city, and we got this awesome photographer. We got dancers. What was the dance studio? What's the dance studio's name? Do you remember? One Mob, I think it was.
Yeah, One Mob.
Yeah, so cool. Wicked people. And they all got there, and Carson looked after Harvey. So Harvey's July it was the photo shoot. April he was born, so he's about 8-9 weeks old, and God knows what I was thinking. But when you're in these moments, you just got to get shit done. You just got to do what you can do to get to the next level. That is simply it. There's no other ins and outs. In business, you just make it work. Again, don't think about the how, just fucking the how will work itself out. So we get to the photo shoot. We're doing this awesome thing. It was only meant to be about fucking 3 or 4 hours. It ended up being, I think about 10,
It's crazy. It was late at night.
But it's crazy because we had T-shirts, we had bodysuits, we had fleece shorts,
track pants, crew necks.
We didn't have hoodies yet. No hoodies yet. So and then we did
all
mix and
bright
matches,
pastel
all
colors.
bright colors, and then we did mix and matches and stuff like that. So there's just so many.
We did the
working
suits
components,
and then the mix and match.
That's exactly right. So we got all this. Then I was like, okay, cool. We need now a website girl. And I tried to start doing some stuff on Shopify, and I was like, fuck, this is way too hard. I need someone who knows what they're doing. I don't want to waste my time on this. So I hired a girl. She was awesome. And it was actually in that conversation, she said to me, what are you doing regarding import tax? And I was like, what the fuck's import tax? And she's like, oh, babe, when the stuff comes in, and then you got to pay the tax when it comes into the thing.
Coming into Australia.
And I'm like, I have no fucking idea. We've just spent all of our money now, our last money.
We need to be making money now.
We're running dry. And I was like, what do you mean? Then there's import tax, and there was GST. And I was like, what the fuck? I know nothing about this. So then I was like, all right, cool. I need an agent. All right, I need someone to go and organize all this because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't want to get fucked over by customs. I don't want to lose all this stuff. I spent so much time doing this. So, she gave me a contact, and then I got that all sorted. But again, learning as I went along, I had no idea about tech packs. I had no idea about input tax. I had no idea about any of this kind of stuff. I had no idea about fabrics. So it's just I'm learning as I'm going, and I'm YouTubing the fuck out of everything. So we've got website. The website was wicked. I absolutely loved it. We had beautiful photos, all that kind of stuff. And the only advertising we're doing is on our socials, on organic. All right, so completely organic.
We didn't even know about paid advertising.
We did, I didn't do anything with paid advertising, nothing like that. And which was a really beautiful moment. Bo's away at work, and I had my kids, my two eldest with me, and obviously my little baby. And it was launch day.
We planned this launch.
And planned all this hype. Like really created this hype around it.
Used all the video and the photo footage from this.
And we did really well with the, like, what we thought at that time was really well. Probably look back now and we're like, fuck, like we could have done way better. But at that time that was like, amazing, so we're just learning.
Pretty good.
We're learning as we go along, and it was a really, really awesome. It was just so fun. Like, it was a lot of hype around this, and it's crazy because for some reason I never doubted that we could do it. I don't know why.
You believed. You manifested.
There was no doubt, and I almost feel like now, because we've been so heavily in business for the last few years, I reckon there's probably more doubt now because you're so aware of everything. And I think being so naive, you don't know what you don't know, so you just
get knocked down so many times that you're aware of the knockdowns.
Yeah.
As well, but you also build the resilience, and you're also aware of what needs to come. So you put in better systems and ask more questions rather than going blindly. So there's and I think if you focus more on the overcoming the hurdles rather than the hurdles coming.
100%. I think in at that stage, like I was just like, I didn't want to go. My why was I didn't want to go back offshore, so I had to work. And so anyway, it's launch night. I've got my kids there.
I'm away at work.
You're away at work. You've got a beer. You're out at the pub.
I went and got a beer.
Sat
down
we
at the
all
pub
celebrate
by myself.
together.
Yeah.
And I got my older kids there, and awesome thing about Shopify, it goes bing.
You can see what everyone's buying around the world.
Oh, it's really awesome. Like it is. I'm big on data. I'm a gambler. I do like to gamble. I love roulette and all that kind of stuff. So it was gambling for me. Like it was just so lights you up. So anyway, then you hear the bing, 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 and then it just keep going. And I was like, holy shit, this is fucking
first 1,000.
Yeah, first 1,000. And like my son Carsten, he was like 16 at the time. He's like, what? They're paying $1,000 for t-shirts. This is fucking insane. Like what?
And I'm sitting at work on the phone with you, and I could hear the bings.
Yeah, and
Shopify noise.
I was like, oh my god, like again, like he was like, what are we up to now? And then it was like $4,000, and we were like jumping up and down, like $4,000. Like this is insane. And then Carson would go back to his room. He'd be playing Xbox. Then he'd come back in and he'd be like, what are we up to now? I'm like 6.5. And he's like, what do you mean? Like, what is going on? Like, who do you think you are? And it was just like so crazy. Like, they were all getting excited.
I remember the $8,000.
$9,000. And then we got to $10,000 and we were like, what?
We just made 10.
We were crying.
We just paid for the tech pack.
Yeah, we just paid for the tech pack. Like, and that's how your mind's working, right? Like, okay, we'll just pay for the tech pack. And then $12,000. 13,000,
14,000,
14,000, 15, and we're like, and then like Carson comes back and he's like, this is like, he goes, what do I need to do?
I remember I had a comment from a friend saying, once you sell to all your family and friends, who's going to buy your product? Who's going to
buy your product? You know what? And this is people we know.
This isn't a hater. This is just somebody who's genuinely concerned about.
But this was also someone who was your friend. Like this.
Yeah, and they were like, well, and what are you going to do once this happens or this like that? Because their mind is wired to like not understand.
Their mind is wired for not believing. That's truly what it is. So then we got to 16,000, 17,000, and that night we finished on our first launch of like 20,800 or something like that. On just pre-launch. And can I say,
personal socials.
This is also pre-launch. They have to now wait for their stock for 8 weeks. Pre-launch.
Yeah, so we hadn't even received the stock. We hadn't even received
the stock. We just had samples for a photo shoot.
I think after by the time the stock got there, how much?
It was 8 weeks.
Yeah, no, but how much had we made before the stock got there?
Oh, so it was $20,000 on
the first
on
night.
Launch, and then I think by the time stock got there, around about 35, I think it was. So about $35,000 before the stock got there, maybe even 38.
Yeah, and this is still we know nothing about marketing.
Nothing. We've got no marketing. It's just only people telling their people. And like for me, I was like, these people like pre-launch 8 weeks, like holy shit.
Never heard of this brand. And
never heard.
Kirsty went to the absolute fucking as far as she could to make this personal. We had little Believer label lollies, right? The candies, we got made candies to match the thing.
Yeah, we had, and these are the things
thick cardboard.
We had our packaging was all labeled. It was labeled. We had a card.
Degradable.
We wrote to every single person.
So we had a thank you card, and we wrote. And if you know Kirsty, you know you would write like a fucking paragraph of like, I hope you're having a great day.
Wait, this would be by like,
I love you.
Order, blah, blah, blah. And I was like this fucking
I was like, cheers, smiley face, throw the card in. And, you know, our kids were writing thank you cards. We had our kids packaging. Noah fucking hated school holidays or weekends after that.
100%. So let's talk about the day that the stock came in, all right? So we've got about, I think it was about 150 orders. 100 and the thing is
close to 200.
100 or whatever
it was very close to 200
maybe 200
orders.
And the thing is, these weren't just like one or two items, these were big items. So we also realized in this moment,
track pants,
we didn't have so one thing we realized was that our packaging wasn't big enough, the bags,
and they were ripping. Remember, we got this shit quality, and you put a thing in, and the whole side would bust out.
Yeah, and my thing was also like these were biodegradable bags, so I want to be a part of the environment.
Of course,
and it's crazy because I look back now, like we could have done a lot more advertising around that.
We found those bags on Alibaba.
Yeah, we did. Everything was pretty much on Alibaba, you know. And then so that was another thing. So we bought all these bags. I think it was about $2,000 worth of these biodegradable bags that you get these awesome, and it's got a quote on them. They were wicked. But anyway, so we sat there. And the day that the stock came in, it was crazy. So we're like, where the
lounge
fuck?
room. We had no lounge room for
weeks.
Weeks.
So what we did was, let's stop skipping the steps, please. All right, let me do it. And Bo gets very excited about this stuff. So the truck comes. All right, it is a very exciting moment. Again,
it was very cool.
Again, Bo's at work, fucking conveniently at work. Anyway, so Carson's there. I've got a newborn baby, let's just remember, and Noah. So we cleaned out the whole lounge. We took all of the furniture, couches, absolutely everything, and we put all the boxes in. So they all came in, we put the boxes in, and we had to obviously then put it into categories so we know where to. So we had some sort of system. And then the day that Bo came home, I was like, well, that's the day we're packing these orders. So they came, I think he came maybe the day later. And, Bo's like, I've been working the mines, blah, blah, blah. Like,
that's not true.
It's so true. I've been working the mines. Like, can we do the orders tomorrow? And I'm like, no fucking way. These people have been waiting 8 weeks for doing them today.
So finished, flew home. I think we're up till 4
Had a shower, got him a beer. I said, let's fucking go. And it
200 orders.
It was till 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Kids were helping.
Kids were helping till about midnight when they're like, Mom, I'm too tired. This is child labour.
Speaking of child labour, Noah never wants to pack a friggin' clothing. You know what? We would do sales, and Noah's like, I'm not helping you. And there were days, I know a lot of people don't agree with this, but we actually pulled Noah out of school to help us pack.
I don't care if people don't agree with it. It is our life, and for me, you know what? Like I'm teaching my kids
those benefits.
I'm teaching my kids business. I'm teaching my kids resilience. Exactly. I'm teaching my kids real life shit. And for me, like I could talk about school I am not successful.
Noah's learned so much.
I'm not successful and where I am now because of school. I've got lots of friends that went to university who are on nowhere near the income that I have. So for me, school has its purpose to teach you your basic things, English.
Taxpayer, become a taxpayer.
Yeah, it teaches you bullshit. But as long as you know how to, learn the basics, probably speak, communicate, spell. Even then, I'm not even great at spelling. We've got phones for that.
Yeah, and it keeps you just below, so keeps
you stuck in a box and dreams
between that and
dreams crushed. So anyway, let's move off school because school just annoys me. Do you want to attract more money into your life? Then this is for you. Are you ready to fuck off procrastination? Then this is for you. You need more sales in your business? This is for you. Do you want to feel more successful and confident? Then this is for you.
Hey, I'm Bo Drury.
Hey, I'm Kirsty Waddingham.
And welcome to Believe in Your Breath,
where we breathe success. If you want to work with us further, you'll want to join We Breathe Success. It is designed to take you from where you are now to where you want to be in 12 months or less.
If you're ready to 10x your life and step into the ultimate version of yourself that you know you can be, then this program's for you. Your transformation awaits.
Anyway, so I teach my kids real life shit, and you know they're entrepreneurial because of that. And you know, I really hope that you know they see the benefits of that when they grow up.
No, I hated it then, but he
didn't. He started off loving it, and then he hated it. But it's like, you know, I remember the first time I asked my mum
more packages.
I remember asking my mum for the first time if I could make a cup of coffee for her, and I was about 10, and it was the worst fucking thing I ever did, because after that, my mum and dad made me make coffees all the time, you know? So
Great
now.
at making coffee, now, aren't you?
Oh. Back then, it was instant for them, espresso for me.
Oh.
Yeah, disgusting, all those chemicals. But yeah, so back to, so the boxes come in, we've like done all the things, we've done the packaging, we've done the 200 orders.
From he used to come with his big car. He come with his personal four-wheel drive.
We had our own postie man who owned the post shop in Baldivis, Perth. He used
Scott from Baldivis. He was amazing. Shout out to Scott.
Shout out to Scott. I absolutely love that guy. Loved his charisma.
He would drive his personal car and just fill it up and take it to owned the post office.
He owned the post office. He would do that for me. And then even when we moved to Port Kennedy, he still did it. I just love that guy.
Do you know what's really cool? The first thing we did, he's like, well, he was like amazed, and we're like,
he goes, how long have you been doing this for?
Yeah, we're so naive. We're like, we just launched. This is our first launch. Obviously, it was 8 weeks ago, but I said, this is our first launch. The stock got here yesterday, and he's filling his Wild Track. I remember, the ute and the front and everything with 200 clothing orders. And they're all big.
Yeah,
everyone got lots of stuff. And he was like, holy shit. And then he watched, like, after that.
He followed us on socials.
We did sales once every couple of months. And, like, same thing. He'd bring the postie van to our home.
Yeah. He was just like, I can't believe this is amazing, you know?
Yeah.
So then, so after that launch, so then we moved our stock into the garage and set that up. And then we went through a stage where, you know, like your friend said, like, who are you going to sell to after all your friends and family brought? And I then went, okay, cool. Now we need to find marketing. Yeah. We need someone to market this. So I went into, outsourcing and finding. We met with people, with conversations. They started the marketing. You know, marketing is around about anywhere between $12,000 and $2,000 a month for the retainer. That's not including ad costs. So you pay the ad costs on top of that. Yeah. So I started doing this, and we were just getting nothing.
Running like Facebook ads and
running Facebook ads, Instagram. And so I spent 10 grand on the first guy, really nothing. Maybe a couple of sales.
Yeah, we met. I remember meeting him.
Yeah, we met him in Hillary's, I think.
Hillary's, yeah.
Yeah. And then the next person, we spent about another 10, and we ended up spending around $30,000 in advertising to really get nowhere. So then I went, all right, fuck it. Like, I need to understand marketing. And I really was like, all right, I'm going to go do a course on marketing so I can learn how to communicate and talk to the marketers, so then they can't fuck with me because I know what I'm talking about. So then I can also look at the data at the ads. So I was like, the more I can understand, the more then I can communicate better.
That's right, yeah.
So we moved to Port Kennedy this time, sold a house, and moved to Port Kennedy.
Moved all the stock into the next garage.
Yeah. And this ad came up for this guy. His name's Jay Wright. Shout out Jay Wright. And
massive shout out.
I'm about to tell you why. And he came up, and some Instagram ad, I think it was, or maybe just on I don't even know how. It came up on Instagram anyway. Anyway, I said to him, oh yeah, cool. Like, so do you think that you can help? I've got a clothing brand. And he's like, yeah, absolutely, blah, blah. This is what we specialize in. Had a bit of a chat to him on and off for about a couple of weeks. He said, like, I'm launching this customers program. You know, you should join. And I was like, yeah, maybe, you know, it's $1,500. And he goes, you know, and I'll teach you everything. And I was like, all right. And then anyway, and I was like, in the end, I was like, nah, fuck it. He's probably just fake, some kind of scamming person on Instagram. It feels like that. And he didn't have really a website.
He had like 1,000 followers or something?
Yeah, less than that, I think, you know. And I clicked on his link, and then it didn't go through properly. And I said to him, like, your links don't even work. And he's like, oh, yeah, you know, we're working on that, blah, blah. So I'm thinking, we fucking definitely a scammer, you know. And then just before he was launching that day, so 3 o'clock was our meeting. And at 1 o'clock, he said, hey, Kirsty, like, it's the last chance, you know, you can jump in. And he goes, I'll tell you this, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not happy for the first 30 days, it will give you money back. I thought, fuck it, what have I got to lose? Even if it's $1,500, whatever. So, mate, jumped into his program. has one coaching session a week and obviously all the modules that you just follow. So I did the first coaching session and then I
remember hearing those tutorial videos from fucking anywhere from 3 o'clock in the morning to...
Bo was like, I don't want to hear fucking Jay's voice
I was
anymore.
about to message you, mate, and be like, I'm sick of hearing your voice.
Get out of my head. And so like I would literally get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I work on these things before Harvey and the family woke up. And I remember the first time I listened to one of his videos and I was like, this is fucking overwhelming. Yeah. I can't do this. And
the back end of
Facebook ads was just hectic. And I did what I usually do, run and pay someone else to do the job.
I remember you contacting Jay.
And literally.
Like, hey, can I just pay you to do this?
Yeah. So I contacted Jay and I said, hey, look, can I just pay you to do this? What would it cost me to do it? And he said to me, Kirsty, I'm going to do exactly the same thing as in these videos. All you need to do, have a cup of coffee, sit down, do one by one, and just build it up. And I was like, fuck it. All right, I'm going to do this. And his slogan, what he used to always say was confidence leads to scale. And I used to be like, oh, what a load of wank. Like, this is a typical fucking wank thing people say. Anyway, I would later understand that. So I started doing these ads and so building them out and put a little bit of ad spend. I think I was maybe $30, just sort of test it. It's scary, when you don't really know what you're doing. This is where confidence leads to scale. Anyway, I started doing it. And then he said to me, you'll go from, not being able to move stock to like, fuck, you won't be able to get stock in quick enough.
He's like, your issue would be that you'll have to turn the ads off because you can't keep up with the demand.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And
we're like, fuck off.
Yeah, we're like, whatever. And at this moment now,
that'd be an awesome
it's been about 6 months that we haven't been able to move. Like, we've moved slow amount of stock, but not much, Not enough. So it's been about 6 months, 6 to 8 months, I think, actually. And then I was like, all right, cool. So I started doing this and I was like, a sale. And I'm like, holy fuck.
There goes Kirsty's gambling.
My ads are working and then you get confident to scale, put more money in.
Put more money behind it.
And I was like, okay, cool. We literally sold everything out in 8 weeks.
Yeah,
with no backup plan.
I'll never forget the video. So there was a video of you.
Woo! I feel good.
Yeah, and you were dressed in the orange outfit
because we couldn't move orange. We couldn't move peach.
We couldn't move peach, the color, and it was one of my favorites. And you were dancing. You just did this stupid dance. I remember the dance.
Yeah, it was like, woo, I feel good.
Yeah, and then it had a song behind it, and you ran it out on it, and we sold out of peach. And I was like, holy fuck.
Wait, and I was like, when did I ever sign up for fucking dancing on TikTok? So I started doing TikToks and Instagram and like the voiceovers and all the funny trending stuff.
Music.
And it's wearing our stuff, and people are like, oi, that's fucking sick.
We'd even just do funny videos of like, remember they're like, I'm wasted. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And like just always wearing our clothing.
Yeah, those little skits. And like it became fun. Yeah. It became like fun. And I never I was not a creative person. Like I'm not a person who likes to do crazy shit on the internet. That's Bo. It always has been him. It wasn't me. So and Bo was like, oh, I'm quite proud of you. Like you're doing all these things. And I started really showing up and doing it. And it became kind of fun. Like I'd go through and like, hey, cool, I'm going to do this sound tomorrow, and I'd have my day planned out. And so Jay actually ended up flying someone over to interview me on like our stock and how do we do it, and I was like, I really feel like I can just sell anything now, and that's kind of like how I believe the label sort of like just started taking off. And then we decided to do Grounded because we had Bo. We had Believe in Your Breath then, which we will talk about Believe in Your Breath on the next podcast. But we believe in breath, and like so we changed as humans, our vision changed, and we were kind of feeling more grounded. And like we'd sold both of our houses now. We sold our Mercedes. Like we're really stepping back, and we wanted to be like grounded and connected and doing breath work. There's a couple of lessons here that we really learned through business. One, the skinny bitches don't wear color.
Yes.
That's one thing we found.
We found it really hard to sell skinny stuff, bright
colors
or pastel colors,
and it's great. Like I honestly truly believe like the big girls were bright, bold and confident, and they loved it. They loved to be seen, and it was like our extra large. So we went up to extra large, and in the end, like we went up to double XL. We went up to extra large, and like they were just selling out. And then we obviously we increased our sizing, but in the big sizes, all the big girls were having the colors. The skinny bitches, we could not. We actually had way more smaller sizing because we thought that the skinny bitches would want that, and it wasn't true.
And you've seen all these like cream and wheat colors and these dark greens and sort of like
like neutrals,
neutrals,
neutral colors.
I'm like that's what we need to do. We need to be on trend and blah blah blah. And then if something's not broken, don't try and fix it, right?
And it's something that we've definitely learned very hard in the business a couple of times because we have tried to change things when they were working.
Yep. So we changed to the earthy colors, and we did a black and all that sort of stuff. And we moved it. We did well, but we didn't do as well as how you were moving the colored stuff. And I said to myself,
I said to Bo, actually,
you said to me, why would somebody go to you to borrow a black tracksuit when they can go to Nike or Adidas or someone else who's a well-founded and trusted brand?
Yeah.
When you're a new brand, you have to be different, right?
Be different.
You have to be personal. Yeah. You have to be different, and you have to stand out. You have to be able to be the only brand that sells that or gets that experience.
Yeah.
So we gave them an experience. They had lollies. They had a card. They had like all.
They felt emotionally connected.
Emotionally connected. We were dancing. We were doing different shit, but our clothing was fucking top quality because we spent so much time on that.
Yeah. Attention to detail.
Attention to detail, which brings us into our next thing. We were obviously buying a lot of clothing at the time that we liked. We were buying colors, styles, fabrics, and then we actually moved away from doing the tech packs, and we actually ended up. You contacted a friend, and she said, "Why don't you just buy clothes you like and send them to them and get them to copy it?" And we're like, "I don't think you do that. You need these tech packs. You got to pay people in Dubai like 10 grand, blah blah." And we messaged the guy on Alibaba, and he said, "Yeah, I can do that." So we were just sending over designs that we like, and then we'd make our own changes. Like, oh, we want it a little bit more oversized.
We would find their fabric, and we're like, "Hey, cool. Now we want it to be more buttery,
fit and style." We would get
them, and then we'd get them to tailor them, and then make them into more shape.
Like thicker and more. We want it more like
and more detail. So a lot of our stuff had details. So like if you bought any of our stuff,
I'm wearing a shirt right now.
We had tags on the other side.
We've got like
pop out tags
on the side, like here on the side.
Yeah,
we had our swing tags were like 3D with like quotes on them.
Yeah, everything had a quote. Everything had a touch point. And if you know me, I'm all about customer journey. I always have been. No matter what I do in life, it's always about the customer journey. And I feel like if you can make someone feel something when they wear our clothes, and
they'll buy it on emotion.
I've had a lot of people say, like, when I put on my jumper, like I feel like I truly can believe in myself, and like little things like that.
That's awesome.
That's what makes me. That's why we did it. I couldn't have done that brand if I didn't believe in myself. I was completely naive. I learned everything from scratch. We've even had people say like, you guys got things handed to you. We fucking most definitely didn't.
I hate it when people say you're
like
lucky.
we definitely didn't
Going
have
back
anything handed.
To you getting up at 3 a.m. and learning and having a baby, and doing a photo shoot and losing fuckloads of money.
Yeah, like losing 30 grand on marketing, having to learn. I like one day I said, I'm just so fucking sick of learning.
Universe, we've had enough lessons.
Yeah, and like there wasn't like. There's lessons. I always say like lessons are in the life, like you have to do shit. And I truly believe that, my biggest takeaway from this is when you're going to do something, go the fuck all in. You are going to hit obstacles and challenges. That's why your mindset is so important. And, and my thing is this,
everything.
I've been working on me since I was 19 years old. I've been building my mindset resilience since I was 19 years old after I got out of that DV relationship when I was pregnant with Carson. So I have been doing stuff for me for that long that I'm in my 30, I think I was 36, 37 when I started to Believe the Label. That's how long I've been working on me to help me get to these phases in life. And I know that people sit here and look at us now and think, fuck yeah, they've got it all. That has come with years and years of learning.
Still now
years
challenges.
Of fucking coming
Still
up.
now
Constantly challenges.
Constant.
And more so now, like the more you get more successful in business,
the more
you work with people as well, the more challenges, the more things are going to come up for you, And I want everyone to know, like, everybody can do business. Every single person can truly live the life that they actually want to live. You can design your life.
We didn't know fuck all.
You can design your life, but you first must choose you. And you must know that there will be shit that's going to come to you. And if you build yourself up so fucking strong, that shit won't mean anything about you. You need to take your worth out of your business. And one thing my coach said to me one day was, you need to remove yourself from your business and act like an employee. And when I did that, things change. Because would I get that emotionally upset if I worked for somebody else? No fucking way. But it was personal because believe the label was my baby. It was my time away from my kids. It was my fucking staying up at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was like staying up until 4 in the morning packing packages. You know, it was so much more than the label 100%. And the clothing. It was what it meant to me. It's what it gave me to not go back offshore.
Right.
Yeah, there was so much other components in there. My drive and my motivation. So it meant something. But once I could remove myself from it emotionally, it was like, I'm creating the best solution possible for people. I'm giving them the best quality clothing, the best, customer service I could possibly give them. But I'm not going to get hooked up on these little things. And if someone doesn't like something like that, they're just disgruntled. It doesn't mean anything about me.
I remember when we started running ads and someone's like, they're charging $80 for a jumper. Blah, 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 for a small brand, blah, blah. Yeah. And I'm like, you go on their page, they're not in business at all. They don't even work. Like, 100%. And it's
but they don't have any self-worth, and they don't value themselves.
They're also uneducated on anything we're doing.
They couldn't also do it. The thing is, in order to...
So if we sold ourselves out at $40 per jumper, we would never have made it.
100%.
And I said from the start, I'm not... You're like, we argued on prices for a while, and I kept saying more.
Yeah. I went on par with my favorite brand at the time, and I went a variety of looking at things. I wanted to be accessible.
I set
the foundation of something, and it truly worked for us. And I truly believe, again, in business, you can literally do whatever the fuck you want. We teach people this,
I was about to say, before when you were talking about how passionate you are, I'm like, I feel like you're on the online group.
Yeah.
Because you teach everyone in our class this, and everyone who works with us ends up starting a business or excels in business 100%. Because we teach them the mistakes we made.
Yeah.
So when they come to us, we're like, you need a VA here. You need digital marketing here. We'll teach you how to do it. So we're taking J-Ride's stuff and J-Ride's stuff and giving it and going here. This is X, Y, and Z. And then they're like, okay, cool. So it's like you get a bit of everything, but we do with the breath work, the mindset as well, which is like, you can't lose.
Yeah, exactly right. You get my knowledge on everything that I went through and overcome and stuff like that. And we get to implement that. But the biggest thing that I teach you and We Breathe Success, which, if you want to know more, join us because it's fucking incredible program.
Most amazing.
It is changing people's lives at rapid speed.
We had people 1 week start the other day and they're already massive changes.
100%. And the reason for that is because I work with people on a subconscious level to remove their limitation. I remove their blocks, and I build your confidence up to a fuck you confidence part of your life. And like Jay Wright said to me, confidence leads to scale. And scale leads to success.
That's
and
right.
he said to me, your new problem won't be that you can't move stock, it'll be that you can't get it in fast enough. And that became our new program.
That is the next problem.
That was our new problem. And we couldn't get stock in fast enough.
It's like levels.
We also didn't have our next collection. So, we learned that. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's, and it's a money game. Cash flow in, cash flow out, cash flow in,
That's
cash
right.
flow out. And so these are all things that we learned. But
one thing I just want to go back on before we wrap up is that when we were looking at the quality of other brands, right? Because you spoke about brands and we started sending stuff. I'm not going to name any brands because we're not here to do that, but really top brands that I wore and people that I knew wore and brands that you have an emotion to.
We started looking at stitching.
We started looking at stitching. You've got a blue shirt, right? And it had red stitching around the collar on the inside and the outside, and I'm like, and you could see it going in
and
out,
do you know what the craziest thing for us was? We were going off at our manufacturers like, why is there white stitching on the purple pants and stuff like that?
Yep, and it was like the seams had a different coloured stitching,
and then like even our logos and stuff, the tag at the back, I was like, why are you stitching it with this? But you can see that, and it's crazy because. Now
that's why our brand was so good because of our attention to detail.
So
I remember getting I really want to say the brand, but a really, really high end brand up there in between normal brands and
high brand,
a design brand. I really want to say it, but I'm not going to. But it the stitching along the bottom of the shirt was half blue and then went into a black.
Yeah.
At the bottom, so like you could see it. And the whole way around, so you see the stitching.
It was a fuck up.
It goes in and out.
It wasn't on purpose. It wasn't to be creative. It was
I think it's laziness from the workers.
From the manufacturers.
But they've just gone, we've run out of black, we're going to use blue, and it was on a different coloured shirt. And if you looked closely, you'd go, that's dodgy. But no one would probably ever notice 100%, it in 100 years.
Unless the person is in this industry. And, and there was quality control. Obviously, they never picked up on it because they would have done probably 100,000 of those tops. So
big brands like that are pumping out fucking that much shit.
So, there's all of that. But, what I want you to take from this is that you can do anything you want. And 100%. That, amazing shit comes from hard lives and hard challenges. And if I hadn't gone through that shit at work, that swing, I would not be sitting here.
If we didn't go through any of that, it was all part of the puzzle.
100%. And so if I hadn't gone through that at offshore, it would never have pushed me to want to do something different. And everything in my life has always pushed me to something greater. And that's why I'm always now, I trust the fucking process. And as cliche as that sounds, like it's so true. Like everything's actually working out for you, not to you. And once you sort of stop trying to control fucking everything, don't work out the how will come. But make the decision. You want something different in your life, you absolutely can have it. I'm no different to you. I'm the same person as you with the same challenges and had to overcome things. I don't have any special power. I was not gifted at school. I have had to learn and work for everything that I had today, and you can have that too. I'm not special. I'm no different to you, and this is why, like I said, if you want to know more about this, jump into our online program because We Breed Success literally is changing people's lives, and you will literally step into the version of yourself that you want to be in 12 months or less. You come work with me and I promise you success will be your only option.
Yeah, 100%. And we see it now. We see the results. And like you always say, if you want different shit in your life, you have to do different shit. You have to move differently, and that's why I say, like, when you miss your breath work, when you go back to your default setting, when you miss journaling, when you feel that resilience and step back, you'll fall back into the same life you're already living, going back to safety, going back to the comfort zone.
Yeah,
so
you've got to challenge yourself.
If nothing changes,
nothing changes.
So
100%.
But a lot of people come to us feeling stuck and stagnant. They're like, I'm in a 9 to 5. I love what you guys do. You guys inspire me, motivate me. Where do I start? Then we're like, okay, well, what do you love? What are you passionate about? Yeah. Let's try and find.
I literally have a whole module on business and entrepreneurship and a whole module on actually, all right, cool. This is what I like to do. These are my passions. This is like, I talk about like, what did you like to do as a child? Like if you could do anything, what would that look like?
Remove yourself from what your family wants you to do and you like. Remove yourself what your friends and shit want you to do and school, and find actually what lights you up by being authentic, walking the way you want to walk, dress the way you want to dress. Then things will come, because a lot of our clients are, they get to points where they get stuck, and us too.
100%, yeah.
So they get stuck and they're like, okay, what's next? So
that's exactly right.
My thing is like getting authentic.
Authentic is, I think it's a word that just gets thrown away way too much. I think most people don't even know exactly what authentic is. And I think for me, like I said, in our program, in our modules, we have a mind map for you to actually work that out.
That's right.
And I think half the time, people are just throwing around these words and they just are really just words, and unless you actually dive deep to like, what does that actually mean for me?
That's right.
What are my passions? What do I actually want to achieve in life? Like what would actually get me out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning? And that's what I used to always ask myself before I had got into PT. What would I love to do that would get me out of the bed at 3 o'clock in the morning? And we literally have a section on that to mind map out exactly what that would look like. So then we take that, it's actually called the $1 Million Idea. And it's a module in our program, and then you can take that and then we create a business out of that, and it's okay to not know where you are, and it's a great starting point. And I promise you right now, at the end of the day, like, I will help you get to exactly what you want to do and find out who you are, and then we're going to make money you doing that and living a life that you truly want to live, because every single person can live a life that they truly want to live. They don't have to be stuck in this fucking 9 to 5 system of the box, just doing the things. And most of the people constantly feel like stuck, that they can't do other things because it's the only way they know. I'm going to help you fucking find another way.
Yeah, and I love it when people are stuck, because I'm like, stuck's great. Exactly, because there's so much opportunity. When you're kind of on a path, you keep going straight. When you're stuck, it's like there's so many crossroads, and it's like, oh, what the fuck do you want to do? Now we can open yourself up and explore. So but like all the stuff you're saying, it's getting clear. You need to get clear on what the fuck you want to do. And with us, how much do we pivot and shift in business?
Constantly. If you've been following us,
we're going to talk about how much we've changed.
Yeah, if you've been following us, you would have seen the change in Believe Loud. We would have seen the change in believing your breath. Us as human beings, how we dress, how we walk. We live in Bali now. We lived in Perth, and before we moved to Bali, we were all about materialistic shit. Like we've gone through heaps of different phases in life. We owned 2 houses. We owned a Mercedes, but then we sold all them. Then we went back to natural, like a rebirth stage. Yeah. Then I went through a stage where actually I want all the fake shit back again. So then I got back into Gucci, wearing that. We went and got a nice place in Coogee. We stayed in a mansion for a year. Yeah. We did that. We bought a brand new Navara. So we've always gone through different stages. Now I've removed all of that stuff. We live in Bali with minimal shit and love it.
A suitcase.
And it's crazy. Like we moved here with carry-on luggage.
I really feel like you, especially, me too, I'm like up and down, but I really feel like you've been leaning towards the woman you are now for so long, like even before us. And even like I said, in our last podcast with the PTing, you're already life coaching people and helping people level up and doing shit like that.
I just had a gift. I see people for who they are.
But even it took for me to do breath work and then for us to step into some sort of coaching. And then you kept leaning towards like business coaching and helping women and helping people be happy. And then we've kind of mixed that all into one now. Yeah. And it's like awesome.
And it's absolutely awesome. And at the end of the day, I just want everyone to take away from this podcast that we were no different. I had the job. You can do it. I had a job. I gave it up for a risk. The risk paid off. And guess what? If the risk didn't pay off financially, it definitely paid off in lessons. And you will learn so much more. You can't focus on
just the money.
You will learn so much more when you fail and get yourself back up. And my motto in 2023 was fail fast and move on.
Fail fast and move on.
Because
And done's better than perfect.
And done's better than perfect. Just get the fuck up and do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Just like Mike said. Just
I love that. I'm taking that away. Our biggest takeaway from last year was done's better than perfect, which was a massive fault of mine. I'm like, no, I'm not starting procrastinating. Fucking, you're just like, I'm already fucking halfway there.
Yeah.
So done's better than perfect. And what was the other one?
Fail fast and move on.
Fail fast and move forward, which is another massive lesson that I took on, concentrating on the failures and fucking trying to you just got to let go of things. Boom, what's next? Let go of it, learn from it.
Work, we've had a lot of costly mistakes.
Huge.
We've hired people that cost us a lot of money. There's been a lot of things, and that's where the fail fast move on came on, because I had to get out of that.
But the cool thing for me now is that when a challenge comes up, instead of going like, oh fuck,
why me?
We need to go backwards. Why me? I'm like, all right, where's the growth? Immediately, where's the change?
Yeah, where's the change?
Which direction do I need to go into? Because this is a speed hump, and I don't want speed humps. And also, like,
what's the solution?
What's the solution?
Yeah.
And where's the positive? And reaching out, like to you or to other people that I need help from, instead of sitting in this like victim mentality in this little comfort box. I'm like, okay, boom, let's break free.
That's it.
And that's exactly what we're teaching our people.
100%. So,
and I just want to say before we wrap it up, I'm so proud of you because you have done the work. And Kirsty does get up at 3 a.m. and she does sacrifice her life and we're living this life. And it's a perfect duality, but for the work side, it's definitely I've watched you grow so much, and I'm really happy and proud that you are finally stepping into the woman that you've want to be, especially through Believe in Your Breath, but just overall, like, you're an amazing mum, great parent, great partner was the word I was looking for, fiance, and I'm so excited to do what we're doing next, which sometimes we don't know. We're just things come to us, how much we change at the last minute.
100%.
So,
and I appreciate that, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am today without you. And I think this is where there's been a beautiful synergy between us, because it's your bold risk taking, because and doesn't always not always the funnest, but it's your bold risk taking.
I know.
Putting things down the line.
I jump in the deep end, and sometimes I drown, and that's okay.
Well, no, you drown, and then I fucking save you. So then it becomes my problem. It becomes the toddler becomes my problem, But
Boy, the toddler, I haven't heard that one in a while.
That's it. But you know what, again, I appreciate you, because none of this would have been possible if it wasn't for us both being on the same page at the same time, constantly wanting to pivot and grow and move together.
And sometimes also, it was a bit of resilience between both of us.
But also you gave me confidence, you believed in me. And even though I'm very good at believing in other people, I'm very, very good at having, but sometimes when it's your own shit, you're like, fuck, can I do this? And then you're just out there doing it. And you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And I'm like, okay.
Yep, and the next podcast is going to be Believe in Your Breath, and also moving to Bali. But I believe those things, were me. And then then you came along and brung the systems and the smarts into, like, I'm moving to Bali, or I'm going to do 200 people on stage, and you're like, what the fuck? And then I would just do it, but then you become behind and like tidy everything up and make it actually a thing.
Yeah.
So
and that's why we have perfect synergy, and that's why it works,
It's perfect synergy, perfect duality.
So I appreciate that. But yeah, believe the label. Can everybody can do the life they want to do. Just gotta believe in yourself.
And we're here to support you through that. If you need us, join We Breathe Success.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for joining another podcast with Bo and Kirsty on Spill the Tea. I hope you guys are having an amazing week. Let's go.
Let's go.